Iowa is heading toward a healthcare crisis, and our Republican elected leaders in Washington are helping to accelerate it. Republican proposals moving through Congress would cut nearly $1 trillion from Medicaid and hundreds of billion dollars more from SNAP, the food assistance program that thousands of Iowa families rely on every single month. These cuts are being framed as budget savings, but here in Iowa, the consequences would be devastating. When Medicaid gets cut, rural hospitals close. We already know what happens next. Longer drives for emergency care, overcrowded ERs, nursing homes getting shut down, and families forced to choose between groceries, prescriptions, and rent. More than 700,000 Iowans rely on Medicaid, including children, seniors, people with disabilities, and working families. Rural hospitals across Iowa already operate on razor-thin margins. Major Medicaid cuts could push many past the breaking point. Yet, Iowa's Republican delegation, including Ashley Hinson, Randy Feenstra, Marionette Miller-Meeks, Zach Nunn, Joni Ernst, and Chuck Grassley, continue supporting the broader budget framework behind these cuts. Healthcare access is already shrinking. Labor and delivery units are disappearing. Mental health care is limited. Many communities are struggling just to keep providers and hospitals open. Medicaid is not just a government program in Iowa, it's healthcare infrastructure. It keeps hospitals open. It funds nursing homes. It helps children get care and seniors stay alive. And SNAP matters too. Food costs are still high. Families are stretched thin. Cutting food assistance while slashing healthcare support will hit rural and working class communities the hardest.
What's happening right here? It's the front lines of the biggest war we face as a working class. And that's the class war that's been going on between working people and corporate greed for decades.
After a century of operation, Case New Holland announced plans to shut down its manufacturing plant in Burlington, Iowa, cutting over 200 union jobs and devastating the community.
President Trump promised to bring jobs back, to lift wages of workers, to lower costs. None of that stuff is happening, but right now we are imploring this administration to put an end to plant closures in this country.
On the past 4 years, this company has made $8.7 billion. They've given Wall Street $3.3 billion in dividends and buybacks. What do the workers who make the product that generates those profits get? I'll put it bluntly, we get fucked.
This plant has been the backbone of Burlington, but they don't give a damn. And we are not going to take plant closures while they get stock buybacks.
My 2-year-old and my 3-year-old will be impacted in the education system here. Without that tax revenue coming into the community, classroom sizes continue to grow. Services like the ones that my son needs for being deaf and hard of hearing are the first ones that get fucking cut. And that really makes me mad.
They're sending the rest of the work to a non-union plant. What do they want most? They want to be out of the union business.
No company making billions of dollars should be closing a plant anywhere. This company told us just last week they're closing this plant because it'll save them just under $17 million a year. They want to drop an economic bomb on the Burlington community for less than 1 percentage point of their profits.
I don't care what color of hat you wear, whether it's red or blue, all must demand. Case New Holland, you are not going to devastate another working class town.
The handful of greedy son of a bitches at the top want more for themselves. Because $100 million for the CEOs and billions of dollars for the shareholders, it's still not enough. These bastards want it all. Fuck them. We're not out to wreck the economy. We're out to wreck their economy. Because their economy only works for the billionaires and the corporate class, and it leaves everybody else in the ditch.
Iowa is one of the states that is feeling the effects of Trump's policies and tariffs the hardest. Many farmers who shared the tariffs are now watching their markets disappear, costs rise, and many are now struggling to survive. Families who are promised cheaper groceries, lower cost, and more jobs are now feeling the pressure of higher bills. So let's have a look. Please like and hype the video and let me know your thoughts in the comments, alright? Let's get into it.
Iowa Republicans are officially banning freedom of thought at the University of Iowa as they have put a provision in the state budget that has now gone to Governor Kim Reynolds' desk, aka the Kim Reaper, she sucks, that would force all students at the University of Iowa to take 6 credit hours at the newly created Center for Coddling Conservatives' Fragile Feelings to be able to graduate from the University of Iowa. Conservatives and dumbass Trumpers call it the Center for Intellectual Freedom. It is a newly created proto-fascist indoctrination center that they set up at the University of Iowa to quote-unquote combat liberal indoctrination. Seriously, Iowa Republicans put a provision in the budget that would require all students at the University of Iowa to be able to graduate. You would have to complete 6 credit hours at the stupid Center for Intellectual Freedom, which again, we should be calling the Center for Coddling Conservatives' Fragile Feelings. Because conservatives and Republicans are still so stupid that they think, every single person that's educated and works in higher education seems to disagree with our world viewpoint. Are we the ones that are wrong and have outdated views of the world? No, it's literally every other educated person. So at a time when Iowa now has the 2nd highest cancer rates in the country and every standard of living in the state is taking a nosedive, this is what Iowa Republicans who control the government and could try and improve people's lives think is important and they need to spend time and our taxpayer money on. Because over the last 10 years, Republicans have had a trifecta of government control in Iowa. Republicans have controlled basically every level and apparatus of Iowa government for a decade. Everything in the state has gotten worse. Schools are closing everywhere because the state has the worst voucher program in the country. Women can't access healthcare. Healthcare is abysmal in rural areas. Domestic violence rates are skyrocketing in Iowa. The economy is going backwards and all the young people are leaving. What do Iowa Republicans think they need to do? Weaponize the government that they control to force people at the University of Iowa. Take classes that are probably stuff like how to paint the portrait from Manifest Destiny and why Alex Jones should be considered a founding father. Oh yeah, when this Center for Coddling Conservatives' Fragile Feelings opened, enrollment was so low that that's why they're thinking of forcing students to take this. The party that is the party of small government and doesn't want the government to tell you what to do wants government so small it can fit in a woman's uterus and that it forces you to take the college classes they want you to take. What? Iowa Congresswoman Marionette Miller Meeks, who is the human equivalent of maggot-infested roadkill on a hot summer day, literally wanted to name the Center for Coddling Conservatives' Fragile Feelings after Charlie Kirk. Which becomes even more unhinged and shows how insane the Iowa Republican Party is when you learn that multiple teachers and public servants in Iowa were fired from their jobs and some arrested for making social media posts about Charlie Kirk's Oh, and Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds ordered flags be put at half-mast after Charlie Kirk left the mortal plane because this state is a red hellscape. Again, in a state where right now in Iowa we have the least safe drinking water possibly in the country. The nitrate levels are higher than Erica Kirk's horniness for J.D. Vance. People like Marionette Miller Meeks think we need to be naming fascist indoctrination centers after Charlie Kirk. So yeah, if you live in Iowa, this is obviously a massive problem. So make sure that you organize within your community and start getting really fucking loud to say how much you hate this stuff to stop it. Get out in the Democratic primaries to push some progressives to actually change this stuff.
Did you know that even teenagers in Iowa are struggling to find a job? That means that the McDonald's, the Walmart, the Wendy's are not hiring us anymore. That means that teenagers cannot find jobs because the adults are taking their jobs. Because there are literally no jobs in Iowa. When I say that a Republican governor isn't doing anything to help us, suddenly I'm the villain. Hey, so our water is still contaminated. We're still getting cancer, and now we can't even afford to eat the cancer. Wow.
Oh, Iowa is finding out. We all remember Iowa from election night, where only 5 counties voted blue. And the good people have gotten exactly what they voted for, and now leading America in farmer bankruptcies. You know, farmer bankruptcies that hadn't been this high since the first Trump administration were trending down during the Biden administration. These people are still so delusional that Kim Reynolds, the governor of Iowa, still came out and said, we're a Trump country, that we stand with the president despite the tariffs. I tell you what, you guys sure do like paying for your racism, don't you? To go along with the family farms going out of business, you have multiple investors that have now gone bankrupt in the companies they own in Iowa. But I tell you what, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it, can you? How can you people have lost everything? Your GDP has shrunk by over 6% this calendar year, and yet here you are stating that you're still a Trump state, that we stand with you even though you've destroyed our lives. What has this man done for you ever that you should give this loyalty? Oh, the racism.
You know, it's interesting that Iowa is the place where Donald Trump chose to do his victory lap this week, when our state has been one of the hardest hit economically by his policies. The Trump tariffs have been absolutely devastating to the ag economy. It's increased the cost of materials and machinery for our farmers. And the tariffs caused China, the largest foreign buyer of Iowa soybeans, to halt purchases completely. So now we're seeing rising farm foreclosures and even a devastating increase in farmer suicides. Farmers aren't the only ones getting hurt either. Iowa lost 1,300 manufacturing jobs this last year, much of that in farm and construction equipment. So with all of that, it's no surprise that Iowa has the weakest economy in the country, and Iowans feel it. And a new study finds that 96% of Trump's tariffs are paid for by you and me, not other countries. Grocery prices have gone up, not down, and the demand for our food banks has reached record highs. This administration now blatantly tells us to ignore what we see with our very eyes and just to believe what they tell us. But the facts, folks, are conclusive. Iowans are worse off 1 year into Trump 2.0. We have to believe our own eyes, not their lies. You know, it'd be far more appropriate if Trump did his victory lap in the yacht of some billionaire rather than in a state where the wreckage of his policies is so visible. Iowans deserve better.
Well, Iowa farmers are going through it. Not just Iowa farmers, but check this one out.
The reality he and thousands of other Iowa farmers are facing is nowhere near as bright.
Farmers are under a lot of stress. A lot of farmers are reporting to us that in some cases they're on the brink of a crisis.
The reasons why vary. Iowa Corn Growers Association President Mark Mueller says the skyrocketing costs and availability of fertilizer, which is largely controlled by just a few companies, is the most current issue.
I'd say it's safe to say that my fertilizer company is making more money per acre than I am off of the corn I raise. And I'm not even sure I'll be making money on corn this year.
But some say it's merely the latest. Ultimately, the problem
fertilizer
is that there's more
is
than
up
one
77%. They're paying over $5 a gallon for gas. They're in the middle of a trade war. And let's just add fertilizer, 1/5 of where we get our fertilizer is stuck at the Strait of Hormuz. Yes, yep, Iowa voted for this administration, and likely these farmers voted for this 3 times. And no, this is not the first time that Trump did this to them. He screwed over farmers in his first term. We're stumbling into all these FAFOs, and if you saw, he mentioned high farm suicide, bankruptcies. I've reported on all of those. This is going to be a very rough time for all farmers in the USA, a very, very hard lesson that they can only learn themselves.
Yeah, so this downturn has been difficult because, you know, with the tariffs and everything on top of it, our commodity prices really haven't kept up with the inflation of the inputs. You know, so we're paying so much, 30% more for fertilizer I paid this year, and now I'm hearing it's going to be another 30% in 2027.
This is my 39th crop. I started in 1986, the year I graduated high school. I could plant an acre of beans in 1986 for $30. It irritates me that you don't have the guts to acknowledge that the people do not pay the tariffs. I don't care if it's John Deere, Case, Caterpillar, all that stuff is outsourced overseas. And the guy that pays it is the guy that purchases it. I can buy a bearing for a combine, and it's made in Taiwan, or who knows where. Parts have over doubled in the last year, if you can get them. The dealer at Marshall has a backlog for almost 4 months because they can't get parts because of Trump's stupid tariffs. I think agriculture has taken a heck of a hit on a lot of misinformation, and he is not helping the farmer. I mean, we farm about 3,500 acres. We are going to be so far in the red. When are you going to stand up for us instead of kissing his ass for these trade deals? And the tariffs. More so the tariffs than the trade.
Let's talk prices in Iowa because it's getting ridiculous and I don't know how us regular people are supposed to keep up. Prices of gas, the prices of food, the prices of like electrical bills and just mortgages and rent and everything. And I don't know how we're supposed to keep up. And these Republican lawmakers are not helping. And they just keep getting put in office. And it's just so stinking frustrating. Because as someone who makes minimum wage, like, I cannot afford to live like this. And we are a 2-income family. And before you say you should be making minimum wage, you go out and try to find a job right now. It's like almost impossible, even if they say they're hiring. What are us regular people doing? Like, how are we surviving this? And how do we get these lawmakers to like fix it?
I don't think that is clicking to a lot of people that groceries, gas, all the necessities that we need to live is outpacing our paychecks. The food we need to eat, the house that we need to afford, all of those things are outpacing how much we take home. People are getting into debt to be able to afford these things. Iowa isn't even affordable anymore. What is going to change? The economy is awful. You are not crazy. You are not trying hard enough. We are literally getting outpaced. You cannot run after a car. You just can't. You're never going to outpace that.
This pro-life mom in Iowa found out the hard way. Jessica Jukanovich is a conservative Christian, pro-life, and a mom of 4. She found out she was pregnant, but at 10 weeks, doctors discovered her fetus had trisomy 18, a severe abnormality they called incompatible with life. Multiple opinions confirmed the fetus would sadly not survive. Jessica started to develop chest pain, swelling, fatigue, and kidney issues. She says, "I had a fetus in me that's poisoning me from the inside out." But when she sought care, she was turned away. Doctors at multiple Iowa facilities told her, "Sorry, our hands are tied." One told her to miscarry at home. Another suggested she look online for help, aka look for a blue state to flee to. Her husband, Milan, said they were cornered by the government. What? Cornered by the conservative Christian government you guys voted for? No way. After over 2 weeks, Jessica finally got treatment. She says, "Where's the pro-life in that? We're completely forgetting the mother in this situation. At no point should a dying fetus have more precedence in a healthcare system over a healthy mother who's contributing positively to society." Really? We are forgetting the mother? Who's we? You voted for and support the politicians that write the very laws that forget about mothers. And of course, Jessica is now speaking out in videos saying, "This isn't what we voted for." It's really every single time with conservatives, isn't it? She couldn't care less about other mothers. It only matters now because she was severely harmed and almost unalived. Jessica Jukanovich voted for pro-life politicians. Now she knows how much value her life has to the pro-life movement. None.
It's funny that many MAGA voters, they supported the tariffs without having clear knowledge about what tariff does. They were told that tariffs would punish foreign countries and strengthen American industries. They thought that it would bring back manufacturing jobs, protect farmers, and put more money in their pockets. But tariffs are not paid for by a foreign country. Tariffs are taxes that are passed down to businesses, and businesses pass it down to the consumers, That's why you see the cost of groceries, equipment, and other goods are rising because of the effects of tariffs. And many Americans are already living paycheck to paycheck. And any increase in the cost of living creates more stress, But unfortunately, many Americans are now dealing with higher prices of almost everything. Groceries, gas, rent, fertilizer. And also many people supported Trump, believing that he would bring back jobs as per the promise. They thought that the factories would open, opportunities would return to their communities for young people, instead of young people leaving their hometowns in search of work. But when factories are not shutting down, it feels like a betrayal. And the people of Iowa, they feel more frustrated because they haven't gotten anything they were being promised. They have not gotten lower groceries, lower gas, more jobs, and even lower rent. And now with the proposed cuts to Medicaid and SNAP benefits, they have completely lost hope in this government, because these programs like Medicaid and SNAP are not just political talking points. They are survival tools for many families, They help millions of families to put food on the table, They help the seniors, veterans, children, the disabled, and working families who are struggling despite having a full-time job. And other people of Iowa, they deserve policies that actually improve their lives, not just promises that sound good on the campaign, you know? So thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.